Today's podcast is brought to you by drinkers like you. To help support the show, visit patreon.com/haveadrinkshow.
We return today to sake, those crisp, clear beverages. Or are we going to muddy the waters? Well, cloudy them anyway. What makes them cloudy? It doesn't change the flavor. Who knows? But we're talking about Nigoris today, and we'll get into that and more as we have a drink on this episode. Sake 2, Nigori Boogaloo.
Welcome to Have a Drink, the show where you learn along with us about what you drink. I'm Brittany Lee Walker.
I'm Justin Frazier.
I'm Christopher Walker.
I'm Casey Price.
Oh, and I'm Justin Levon.
Joining us once again from Void Sake in, I don't remember if we've even said it before, but from Lexington, Kentucky. Important note.
It's our sake correspondent. How's everybody doing?
Good.
I was gonna say, like, filled with energy, vim, and vigor, it seems.
Woo!
It's been a month since we've convened.
Oh, yeah, the 4th.
Yeah, because we took a break for the 4th.
Couldn't get the... Yeah, that's right. I was like, oh, yeah, it has. Oh, God. Yeah, I guess a lot's been going on in the world, I guess. But Chris, Brittany, what's been going on in Casa de Walker?
Bribing our child with Pokemon to stay in his bed all night.
Yeah.
It's like,
Whatever
hey, you stay in your bed all night tonight, you can have a Bulbasaur. Tonight it's Lego Mario mystery pack.
Yeah.
What's in it, Dad? It's like, we'll find out in the morning if you stay in your bed.
He's been having some I guess nightmares or something. So like it's been a rough week or so. But yeah. We've all, thanks to Emmett, Emmett not as much as nothing trumps Mario. Nothing ever will. I don't know. But thanks to him, this household is now obsessed with Pokemon.
We've all got to catch them all.
We're on Pokemon Go like too often now.
In an attempt to connect with our child, because again, I was like, man, I've not played since the original 3. I was like, I only know 151. There's almost 1,000 now. And I was like, I've got to learn these things. I'll get on in like 30 minutes into playing it. And I was like, crap, I'm hooked again.
At some point, I need to get to this, which is the newest one.
Oh.
But
Yep.
Some people, customers, regulars of the Void, like, I guess they were playing Pokemon Go, and they were like, well, we've requested that the Void become the Pokestop. And I was like,
it's got that big wall there. I mean, it
I
should.
know. I was like, yeah, that's pretty. But
Yeah. So Emmett's on his journey to be the very best.
Yes.
He's so about, like, he loves Pikachu, he loves Charmander.
Mm-hmm. These are solid choices.
The initial one, you know.
He's wearing Pikachu underwear.
To Squirtle, all right?
Oh, he loves Squirtle.
Okay. Squirtle is the coolest of the Pokemon.
Dude, Squirtle Squad.
That's why he
you
wears
don't
the
know.
sunglasses.
No,
Right?
they just had a community day, and I didn't realize that, like, because I haven't played since like the first month that the game went live. But they do a community day, and they're like, you can go in, you can get all kinds of exclusive crap, and it's only available that day. Well, they had Squirtle Squad Squirtles. So now I've got a Blastoise that's wearing the Squirtle Squad sunglasses.
Yeah,
looking like
I
he's
do.
in the Secret Service or something.
Yeah,
I think at that point they're not the Squirtle Squad. They probably go into like the War Turtle Quartet and then the Blastoise Brigade.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that and the ones for, that is that the same event? I don't remember anymore. But like they had like my Pikachu has a cake hat And then I've got a Squirtle and something else that has a birthday party hat.
I know I'm stoked because the one coming up at the end of the month, you can get a Snorlax wearing a cowboy hat.
He's just like, this is all I need.
The collecting aspect was always like secondary for me for Pokemon. It's probably the reason I didn't stay in Pokemon Go as much, because I enjoy training a team of killers to take on other people's Pokemon, and that's kind of a thing. But I never really liked the combat in Pokemon Go.
Haven't you all said before that you are the Michael Vick of Pokemon?
Yeah, I am. I train them to kill. There's no fear in my dojo.
He definitely relates more to Team Rocket.
I was gonna say you would do well with the Team Rocket raids.
I will say this: when I was a kid playing Red and Blue, I picked Charmander and refused to level the other Pokemon through the gyms because I always wanted to have him be the one to fight the big guy at the end, which means I had to have a fire type beat both rock and water. I was practically Charizard by the time I was in the second gym, just going, no, I've ground this Pokemon. Just looking at it like playing the whole time. Pressure makes pearls, buddy. You got this. Sorry.
Can't get you.
Cat attacks are currently outbreaking in the producer is
trim his claws
bleeding out.
So yeah, that's what's been happening around here.
All right. Justin, what's new in your life?
Let's see. I've had to rebuild a canning line seamer.
Ooh.
That was fun. And it was it is a unit that is probably 10 years old, and when we first got it, this was, well, no, I think it's older than 10 years old because we got it. It was that brewery's original canning line, and they've been open for over 10 years now. But anyway, I had made the joke when they bought it, instead of buying like a newer, smaller, like micro canner or whatever. I was like, they've probably I knew the guy who like manned it, and I was like, they replaced and took care of it, but I was like, man, like all that shit's probably like a year old at this point, and they've been running like millions of cans on it, and it's just like it's just one bad day or a series of bad days from total cascade of failures. And then fast forward 2 years later, that happened.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
But at least you got it fixed.
Yeah, after many swear words and rethinking my life decisions as to like, I'd get it and be like, all right, Brandon, we got it. It's fixed. It's good to go. And then we start the canning line, and I just go, motherfucker, this is a new problem.
They're so finicky.
This problem didn't exist, and like, why is it doing it now? Yeah.
What did I break fixing something else?
And then I was talking to the dude who he doesn't work for the brewery anymore, but he's a friend, and he was helping. He was like, yeah. He's like, those pneumatic lines, it's like there's 1,000 different things that can fuck up on them, and they all tend to happen when you're trying to fix one thing.
Oh, great.
And then one time I was like, how do I take this off? Like, it won't move. And he's like, did you take the second retaining screw out of it? And I go, there's a second one? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, I just went, fucking manufacturer. And he goes, yep. And I was like, I sent him a screenshot, and I was like, the manual says remove the retaining screw, not screws, but screw. And he goes, yeah, you can't see it when you're looking right at it. He's like, you gotta like get underneath or do something. And I was just like, yeah.
Neither could the person that wrote the manual.
He just says, the second retaining screw, and I go, the what?
So you just turn around and flip a table somewhere nearby. It'll make you feel better.
Oh, I did that. I was like, hold on a sec. I need to put the phone down. I just went, fuck. But no, so that got fixed, and then next weekend, this is probably too late for your viewers, but the weekend of, well, I guess it's the 22nd or whatever of July. This is the third time they've done it, but it's the third annual American Sake Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be in Charlottesville, Virginia this year.
Oh,
So
wow.
That'd be
it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Anything special about Charlottesville and sake?
Well, there's North American Sake Brewery there.
Yeah.
But we had so it was in Asheville, North Carolina for the first 2 years. Like the first one happened and it was like maybe 2 or 3, and then COVID happened, and then they made a big one last year. And then I guess they're doing it to where it moves around to the different breweries in the association.
Nice.
So maybe when
Sake.
we move to our new tap room, maybe we'll have room to host it. So
that's also some big news.
Oh, yeah,
You guys have a whole new.
Well,
Yeah.
it's still we haven't officially announced it yet, but
Did now.
your Patreons get the scoop.
Yeah, there you go.
All 2 of them.
Well, all right. Casey, what's going on in the price world?
I just flew in, and boy, are my arms tired.
I was gonna say, there's one of us had to make that joke.
It's true. I was on a red eye overnight, so I'm a little sluggish. I went to bed at 9 this morning and woke up about 5. Rolled over and was like, Giovanni sounds delicious.
Oh, whoa, yeah.
For breakfast.
It'd only be better if they could give it to you cold.
Yeah. Just please. Don't even
put your order in the night before. Be like, make this, put it in the refrigerator, and then deliver it to me the next day.
I'll have it later. We spent the past week in Southern California, had a few different cool little places we went to, and everything was way more expensive than what I would have expected out of life. That was the unfun part of it. Gasoline, of course, the prices that it is in California being about 70% more than here. And then food and beverage was always more expensive there. But I was able to get a hold of some really cool ingredients while I was out there, some stuff that was locally grown and some really cool sourced stuff. So I found a produce store that carried a specific type of bean that I liked. And
I was just going to ask if it was bean related from your last episode.
Yes. So I found that produce store that carried those beans, and then from there it went on like a Willy Wonka's adventure inside of a produce store. So it's the type of produce store where chefs locally come to shop. So it wasn't outrageously expensive. It was very reasonably priced. And like, as I was in there, you had to sign in and sign a waiver that if you used anything from there that killed you, you wouldn't sue them for it. Because they had some odd ingredients that would do that to you.
Blowfish.
They have, the Walmart or Kroger or other grocery store chains. They have that wall of bagged lettuces.
Yeah.
They had a wall that side of just edible flowers, like that size of a place. So got some fruits and stuff that I'd never even seen or heard of before, and was able to kind of play with those a little bit. So it was fun. And spent a couple days in Disneyland.
I was going to say, I saw pictures from Disney, and the highlight of those pictures for me was your son's little outfit, his little like Hawaiian style shirt at one of the places you were at.
Yep. Got to go to one of the tiki bars, and he very much fit in there.
I looked there, it's like, Frank, that's my boy.
Being so close to Mexico, I got myself a Mexico-inspired tiki shirt as well. So that'll be next up on the list. But yeah,
I just got a Legends of the Hidden Temple tiki shirt.
Oh, which one? Which tiki?
I got it from Roosevelt's, where I'm getting all my shirts.
No,
from.
which team he said.
Oh, which team?
Yeah, on the shirt, which team?
Yeah.
Oh, it's all of them. It's got everything. The shirt
Oh.
has Olmec on it, and it's just got all kinds of different.
Well, we're talking about vintage shirts or whatever. I'm wearing this one.
There you go.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. That's the clue for the audio listeners.
We had this discussion in the middle of the grocery store what was it? Because we were talking Ninja Turtles. I'm trying to explain to Emmett because we were going to try and find the old '90s cartoon for him to see before we go see the new movie. And I was like, man, like our cartoons had the greatest themes, like just all straight fire.
It's true. Rescue
X-Men.
Rangers,
Yeah.
X-Men,
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Now Emmett will tell me, Dad, sing it. For one intro. He's like, Dad, sing it. And I'm like, oh, you don't have to ask Dad to sing it. I come in from another room. I want to be the very best.
Casey, that was one of the best moments of that night before PAX East we went to back in 2011.
Yes.
Just going into that bar and like it was that Pokemon pub crawl and they had the bar queued up as you walked in. You just hear da 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 da. I want to be the very best. And like they're like normals there too who all just kind of go, okay, sure, and like they just look and just see this crowd of nerds going, yeah. Like,
That's like I saw a clip or on Reddit or something. Somebody came in with a saxophone with a traffic cone in it and just started playing. And then a cop, like a muscly shirted cop, comes up and then he pulls out a sax and they start playing like a jazz EDM version of Barbie World, like just in McDonald's or whatever. And the customers there, the normals, are just like, what's going on?
I really also am dying to see that movie. Like I can't even handle it.
I want so
Barbie
badly
movie.
to go to the AMC double feature because Oppenheimer and Barbie come out the same weekend. So
you wanted to watch Barbenheimer?
Yeah, Barbenheimer. That's what they're officially billing it as.
Like it's been tagged and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love a ticket to go to Barbenheimer.
I am Barbie, destroyer of worlds.
I mean,
I was trying to say like I am Ken, like where of the I don't know, yeah, destroyer of the beach house.
I was gonna say I am Barbie, dweller of the beach house.
My favorite version of this stuff, I put it in the chat, our group chat earlier today. It was has the Barbie dream house with big Barbie legs running. And
yeah.
Barbie Yaga.
Barbie Yaga.
Barbie Yaga Barbie house.
wait, I didn't realize John Cena is a Ken in this movie.
Of course he
Everyone
is.
is. Like, nothing would. Isn't what's his name? That's Chang from Community. Isn't he in it as a Ken?
Kim Jong.
Yeah.
Kim Jong.
I'm not going to be surprised. Also, the dude from the Secret Invasion show.
Again,
Oh, it totally is. Yeah.
Not be surprised at anyone. There's the big Ken battle on the beach.
I can't even handle. Like I need to see this movie.
I don't know why, but I'm just picturing it going down like West Side Story. It's like if you're a Ken, you're a Ken for life.
All I remember from the trailers is it's set up like it looks like a Barbie version of Saving Private Ryan in the background, and they're doing like the West Side Story thing in the foreground. They are dancing and singing, but there's like
There
a
are
beach
also
landing
sparkles.
happening, and
because like they did it like a chest bump at some point, and then like sparks and sparkles
their
shot
bare
out.
chests hit, and then like sparkles are shooting out. And I'm just like, God, I need to see this movie.
I mean, to be fair, it was Ryan Gosling and Simu Liu doing that, so it's like, well, it's gonna happen regardless.
To be fair,
I haven't seen that show, but everyone's referencing it, and I'm like, I get these references now. I've never seen a minute of it.
It takes an episode or two, and then once you kind of key in, you are like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm down.
I realized I could get into it very easily.
Yeah.
I went through the whole first season of Parks and Rec. You don't. I suffered.
We don't talk about that season.
I suffered to enjoy that show.
All right. I believe
What have you been up to? You just glossed yourself over there.
that's what I try to do. Nothing really. There's nothing to report. All quiet on the Western Front.
Don't you lie to us. We know you were in a commercial.
You were in a commercial?
Kind of. My bank was doing they needed someone to pretend to be customers for a shoot, and I don't work with the public, so
It's on YouTube. I'm looking it up right.
They haven't put it out yet. They just shot it this week.
Oh.
How fun.
And they may not do anything with it, so
they may not do it. Don't bother searching it. Don't.
They may, there may be some other stuff they had, because they had to do some other, they had other people doing things. So it's it's entirely possible I'm not even there. So
I hope they sell it so this is their big commercial. It's gonna be on Hulu, and everyone's gonna have to see it 90 times trying to watch one show.
The first time they had me do a shot, I was exiting the thing, and I purposely turned my head away from the camera, pretending I was talking to someone behind me. And then they had me in an office, and they're well, there's no way I can avoid the camera now. And the reason I was there was just someone said, we need bodies. Can you come in and help? And the people pleaser that I am, I was like, yeah, sure. I'll show up to work early, get my morning stuff done, and then drive down there. So yeah.
You're famous.
No. People kept making that joke to me while I was up there. Oh, it's your big break. And I was like, please stop.
His big break was pissing on that floor to ceiling window in Boston at that restaurant. That was his big break.
I'll be back that way in a couple weeks. I need to try to track down that restaurant, figure out where it was.
Territory.
Put a plaque down. It was on here at this date.
That drunken hobo.
Worst drunken incidents have happened in Boston, I'm sure.
Oh. Not the first nor last time someone did that.
Yeah.
But those diners are going to be talking about it for years.
Alrighty. Well, guess we can. We'll just go on with the episode. I was like, do we want to talk about the sad story in the news, or do you just want to move on with our lives?
We can just mention real quick. Last episode, we poured one out for the loss of Steam Beer. This episode, we got to pour one out for the loss of Anchor Brewing altogether. Yeah. And I'm going to say, I'm kind of disgusted and upset with the craft community around the response online. Half of everyone's like, oh man, it sucks. They're gone. This is terrible, blah, blah. The other half are like, you never drank their beer. Why are you blah, blah, blah? You can be upset for what they stood for and what they were going away. What's the gatekeeping about with this?
People like to keep gates.
I mean, I just don't see the reasoning behind it. People are like, oh yeah, that sucks. Be like, what do you mean you never drank their beer? It's all right. Get off your pedestal, man.
Yeah. That. They were very important to the launching of a lot of craft stuff, and just helping. I think they did a lot of helping for getting a lot of the California craft stuff up and going near the very beginning.
I still what was it? SF Gate. The official article they posted about it. It was a quote for the headline, and it was just, "This fucking sucks." That was the headline.
Fair.
Don't need no clickbaity title. Just fucking sucks.
Yeah, no, I was just like, yeah, it does. I felt like an idiot because when I went and got my Steam Beer, they had a few sixers of Anchor Porter sitting there, and I was like, I'll be back for you. And now I'm like, I'm not even going down there for it because I'm like, yeah, someone already swooped in and grabbed it all. I know.
Probably.
What do you think the secondary market for some of that shit's gonna be?
Oh God.
Probably crazy right now, and it's honestly not worth it.
How many people are going to be doing some they'll be like, hey, I got an Anchor Steam vertical. This is the last year that it was made.
Casey, how much Christmas ale did you just distill from me? because I
I
ran
don't know
out.
what you're talking about. This distillation.
That never happened. It got donated to a truck that it fell off somewhere.
And that truck had I don't know how many bottles.
Like a 12-year vertical, or like just a crazy
It
amount,
was a
and
lot.
I had like 3 or 4 bottles for every year because it was meant to be for a show thing. So
Yeah.
a lot of Christmas ale.
Oh well.
I'm saying.
Getting heartburn just thinking about it.
That tracks.
Speaking of heartburn, we have a topic.
We're not that drunk, cheeky bastards! We're not that drunk! We're not that drunk! We're not that drunk!
I'm trying to put some heavy limiters on myself this time so I don't get that drunk again. Last sake episode, I had to go look back up where we ended the history section because we're going to pick up more or less where we left off.
I don't know. I can't get that drunk that quick.
I need more sake though.
There is a point where you can hear the slurring of speech happens. It just progressively builds.
It's a hallmark of this show.
It's a sign we had a good time and a long time.
It in and of itself is possibly a drinking game. Spot when it happens.
So we're going to start out by picking up in the Meiji era of Japanese history, once the emperor had regained power.
Unlimited power.
Surprising how much power you can technically wield when you've convinced the government to deify you.
It's really interesting coming back into this history after like our break in sake episodes was doing Japanese whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
we'll end probably in a pretty close spot to where that one was picking up with some things, but the technique, starting around the Meiji era, about 1868 to 1912, the techniques for making sake began to develop rapidly. Breeding was actively carried out in various parts of Japan to produce sake rice that was optimized for sake brewing. We will get into more detail on that in a little while. We'll talk a little bit here, though. But Ise Nishiki? Look, there's going to be some words today, and we're just flat out sorry. Omachi was developed in 1866. Shinriki developed in 1877. These are some of the earliest representative varieties. In 1923, Yamada Nishiki, later called the King of Sake Rice, was first produced. Among more than 123 varieties of sake rice have been developed as of 2019. And Yamada Nishiki ranks first in production and Omachi in fourth.
As of 2019. All right.
That's where I got the source.
So the number could be completely out of control.
It's 10,000 now. 10,001.
It got exponential in those last couple years.
The breeding couldn't be contained.
Well, the government opened a sake brewing research institute in 1904, and in 1907, the first government-run sake tasting competition was held. And in 1904, it was the National Brewing Laboratory, is what that one was. It was developed in Yamaha. It developed Yamaha a new method for making starter mash. And then in 1910, there was a further improvement. Sokujo, which is a quick fermentation method. Sokujo, thank you. Yeast strains specifically selected for their brewing properties were isolated, and enamel-coated steel tanks arrived in the process. The government started hailing the use of enamel tanks as easy to clean, lasting forever, and devoid of bacteria. And the government considered the use of they consider the use of wooden tubs to be unhygienic because of potential bacteria living in the wood.
They're not wrong.
No, they're not. They just don't last forever like they thought.
Yeah. Living in the bacteria living in the wood is like, yes, the rum barrel aged drink.
Mm.
And while these things are true, the government also wanted more tax money from the breweries, and using wooden tubs meant significant amount of sake is lost to evaporation, about 3%, which could have otherwise been taxed. Always comes down to taxes.
That's what drove like technological advancement. You must have the taxes.
This was a temporary end to the wood tub age of sake, and the use of wooden tubs and brewing was temporarily eliminated. Now, in Japan, sake had long been taxed by the national government. In 1878, the liquor tax accounted for 12.3% of the national tax revenue, excluding local taxes. And in 1888, it was 26.4%. And then in 1899, it was 38.8%.
Jesus, that is insane.
That's an insane amount of revenue out of
Quarter of your revenue.
over a third of your revenue at the
Yeah.
turn of the 20th century was just
Liquor.
from sake.
Yeah, just from alcohol, sake or whatever.
Sounds
and,
about
it,
right.
And it finally surpassed land tax of at that time, which was 35.6. So they got more taxes out of alcohol than they did land.
God. No,
Sure.
no, that yeah tracks.
Not a lot of land in the nation, but a lot of alcohol.
They stack the alcohol tall. Well, in 1899, the government banned homebrewing in anticipation of the financial pressure of the First Sino-Japanese War and in preparation for the Russo-Japanese War. I like that. Yep, we need to shore up more taxes. We've got some large wars we're about to have. No one can brew sake at home. What? You know how much we can make off that? Especially because homebrew sake was tax-free. The logic was that by banning homebrewing, the sales would increase and more revenue would be collected.
Fast forward to the Prohibition era.
Hey, let me look into my crystal ball. It's going to completely backfire.
I think people are going to bootleg the liquor.
This is the end of homebrewed sake. The Meiji government adopted a system which taxes were collected when sake was finished instead of levying the taxes on the amount and price of sake at the time of sale to ensure more revenue from liquor taxes. Yes. Oh, we'll get it when it's sold. No. I want that weight there. No. Put make sure the barrel's still there. We're weighing that too. That counts.
Ouch. Some thin wood barrels.
Well, the liquor tax of the the liquor tax for the sake produced in a given year had to be paid to the government during that fiscal year. So breweries tried to make money by selling sake as soon as possible. This destroyed the market for aged koshu, which had been popular up until then, and it was only in 1955 that sake breweries began making koshu again.
Yeah, that sounds like the what was it, the tax on like bourbon or whatever. Like you had to pay taxes on it for like every year that it's
yeah.
And it just recently changed. Like they don't have to do that anymore.
Really?
I'm pretty sure, unless I'm just blowing smoke at my ass, I'm pretty sure I thought that it changed recently.
I would assume that's a huge revenue maker for the feds.
Oh, I mean for the state.
Or is it the state that takes that?
I think it was a state law that changed.
Okay.
The only reason I know is because like they made some like changes for the wine industry, and it got lumped into that bill.
Huh. That's cool.
Anyway, tangent.
No, you're good. Need the tangent sign.
Card.
They're just going to abuse that bourbon now and leave it in those barrels way too long.
God, I do like just the idea that they're so pressed for cash and how quickly they have to turn a profit now. It's like, I need the fastest sake you can make. They have to be good. I said fast.
Like now. Not then, not now, but now. Right now.
When will then be now? Soon. When World War II brought rice shortages, the sake brewing industry was hampered as the government discouraged the use of rice for brewing. And as early as the 17th century, it had been discovered that small amounts of distilled alcohol could be added to sake before pressing to extract the aroma and flavors of the rice solids. During the war, large amounts of distilled alcohol and glucose were added to small quantities of rice mash, increasing the yield by as much as 4 times.
Booze finds a way.
Well, a few breweries were producing, quote, sake, end quote, that contained no rice. The quality of sake during this time varied considerably.
It's vodka that contains no potato.
Incidentally, it's just a fun little thing I found there. As of 2022, so much distilled alcohol is not allowed to be added under provision under the Liquor Tax Act. 50% of the weight of the rice is the upper limit for the most inexpensive sake, classified as futsushu.
Futsushu, yeah.
But yeah, during there's a section here that I didn't realize is more or less repeating what I just had. But the government was trying to control some of that during World War II. And in 1943, the government introduced a grading system for the sake taxation for the first time. And we'll probably talk a little bit more about that the next time we cover sake. We got another one more of these to go.
Next time on
Drunken Ball Z.
Well, this time, let's move on into Nigori. Nigori sake or Nigori sake. Nigori sake is cloudy sake. And I like the two we picked. I'm now looking and going, one's nice and white cloudy. The other one's dark and cloudy. So we
made yin and yang.
Exactly.
This is how it's supposed to look.
Yeah. Justin's probably got the most traditional one.
The Japanese word Nigori is commonly translated as cloudy, and this style of sake has these beautiful white clouds of sake leaves in it. Sake kasu are particles of undissolved rice that remain after fermentation. Which, I mean, most things brewed, yeah, if you're not... I mean, filtering is an afterthought nowadays. We like cloudy. It's a flavor. We live in flavor country now.
Yeah. These are the haze. We're getting into the haze country, the haze bros of the sake world.
Oh. It can be sweet or dry, thin or thick, still or sparkling. You might have heard it described as unfiltered sake, but it is better described as cloudy sake.
But you would be incorrect.
Yes.
It is a style that dates back to Kyoto in the mid-1960s and is very popular in the U.S. Nigori sake is brewed in the same way as sumizake, clear sake. I'm butchering all this, aren't I?
Who knows?
Okay.
I mean, I feel like that's pretty good.
For Japanese, well, okay, when it's actually written out in the English alphabet, it's pretty straightforward with the letters and sounds. Like,
I had seen somewhere it's basically like just pronounce every letter you see.
Yeah, it's awfully nice.
They don't believe in silent letters. There
is a series of like 2 and 3 letter word sounds, and it's like su, si, like so, and like once you know those phonics, you can pronounce pretty much most stuff.
Yeah, and to know that if a U is at the end of an S and it's the end of a sentence.
Are they like Latin where they just don't believe in punctuation?
No, it's you just don't say the U really as much if it's like
Oh, okay.
like
It's kind of like the way I understand it. It's kind of like the French liaison, where you're just like it just goes into the other word
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
like that.
It's because like
Brit
gozaimasu.
speaks more
Like that.
Japanese than any of us, so
Ew. Sure.
Well, what makes it Nigori is the method of straining. By using a coarse filter with holes no larger than 2 millimeters to strain the sake, small particles of rice end up in the final sake. They bring with them texture, color, and flavor. Sometimes the sake is pressed to produce crystal clear sake, and then measured amount of the sake kasu is added back to the clear sake to introduce clouds.
Just picturing it's like, oh no, I'm thinking of like a
it's so hard to get this stuff out, and then you add it back in.
I'm thinking of a Bob Ross, like just a little,
That's exactly what I.
little
yeah.
cloud here, little cloudy side.
Yeah.
Originally,
Pure world.
Originally, sake was white and creamy. After fermentation, the sake was consumed without any further processing.
Good, good enough. Whoop.
That'll work. That'll do, pig. There are stories that claim to describe how the trend of separating the solid from the liquid portion became the norm. Crystal clear sake became the goal for many brewers. And in Japan, the legal definition for sake was written to require that all sake be strained after fermentation. So legally, you had to.
I was going to say, I don't know if you talk about it later, but I've read in other things that it also became like an aristocratic thing. Like they would press sake, and it was like the purest of sake, and only the nobility can have it. Whereas you common folk have this unpressed sake, like kind of like the what do they call it? Like the party guile type method of brewing, where they take the strong stuff and give it to the monks, and then the second runnings, they're just like, here laborers,
Your peasant beer.
Yeah, here peasantry.
I don't think we get into that much, but yeah,
Nah.
that is a thing.
Yeah, it's not the first time we've encountered such a fun tradition.
Look, the peasantry gets some of the greatest things. Like we take all the scraps and make scrapple and
Scrapple
and geta, all these delicious Franken meats. And who can forget haggis?
Haggis.
Turn a sheep inside out, ground it up with some oats, pour it all into its own stomach, and boil it to perfection.
Yeah.
When you say it that way.
This
Yeah.
step,
When you say it that way, sign me up.
this step to strain the sake put an end to milky sake and led to sumizake. In 1964, the brewery president of Masuda Tokubi,
Sure.
Shoten, in Kyoto started petitioning for a change in legislation to allow for a return to a more traditional cloudy style of sake. He negotiated a straining system involving a mesh with holes that allow for particles to become part of the sake. This was the birth of Nigori style sake.
Okay.
So wait.
So the name would be Tokubei.
Okay.
Just I don't know.
No, that's fine. That's what we were just trying to.
Of life.
So Masuda Tokobe Shoten.
Yep.
Okay.
Oddly enough, it's like I learned in Finnish. It's one letter, one sound. So if it's two e's, then it's a. Like you just extend the way that you're like. It's two beats.
Ah,
Yeah.
Finland.
They just put an extra letter to like draw it out.
They put an extra letter to fonz it out.
The Finnish, the hillbillies of Europe.
I mean, wait, Finland's where the White Death was, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that tracks.
Although the sediment in Nigori settles at the bottom of the bottle, a quick shake is all it takes to blend the sake back to its opaque, milky color, unless you're me and let it sit for like way too long.
We don't even know how long.
Oh,
They're early runs. I'll guarantee that.
Is there a bottled on?
that bottle's dead. You need to go open another one.
We debated for a long time to put like a shake well before or shake, because one of the other breweries their Nigori was called Bad Baby, and they put a tagline on there to shake the baby.
Problematic.
Oh, that's great. I'll take 10.
Or what you could do is get some of those the bottles that you basically store it upside down.
Yeah,
Turn it right side up. So because I know Urban Artifact,
a cafe of sake.
yeah, Urban Artifact, who they brew just like massively over fruited beers up here in Cincinnati. They're just like, no, you just put them in, because it's all cans. So they just put it in the fridge upside down, and then as you turn it up when you're getting ready to enjoy it, it does the remixing of everything.
What was the brewery that had like the instructions on how to serve their hazies, where they were like you had to like roll it on the table for like so many things, and then like you couldn't just invert it and you couldn't just invert the can or whatever. You had to like roll it and do this like do these sequence of steps.
You had to do that with Listermann's, but I don't think they put it on the bottles or the cans. But I remember vividly going through all that rigmarole trying to drink Listermann hazies from like 3 years ago. It was a process.
I remember you showing us like, wait, you got to do what now? Can't I just drink it?
I just feel like that meme, the meme of the guy where it's like they're doing something and he just goes like picks up a can and like inverts it, does it, sets it down, and just goes. That's how it's done.
All right, back on track. Although the sediment Nigori settles at the bottom, a quick shake's all it takes to blend it back to its milky color. Nigori sakes are deliberately unrefined, so a high rice polishing rate is not what you're looking for here. Although I'm sure there are Jumai,
Daiginjo
Nigoris out there. Sorry, I've heard all these words. Then when you suddenly are staring them down
after having most of the bottle of sake,
when staring down the bottle of a Daiginjo,
when the spell checker's like, "No, dog, something went wrong."
There's too many consonants in this.
Yeah. All right. Although I'm sure there are Junmai Daiginjo Nigoris. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Out there. It's a little purposeless to put rice through the expensive and time-consuming milling process to produce a sake that is celebrated for its rustic qualities.
All right. So I guess we'll talk about some rice now. Let's see. Some rice, baby. Although historically people made sake with commonly available table rice, over time different strains have become bred as sake mai, which is basically just sake rice. Mai is rice, specifically used for sake brewing. There are significant differences between the rice served with your meal and varieties used to make sake. And what's that?
I can't just go get some the sake rice does not look like some Uncle Ben's or something.
I mean, you can eat sake rice. Okay. It is. You can eat it and get sustenance from it. It is just very bland.
Okay.
And let's see. Yeah, and so and it just has to do with the different qualities of the rice that lends it to being better for brewing sake, or as like we've kind of alluded to in the previous section for the sume sake, is this pure, clean, refined, delicate sake. So you don't want kind of a rustic rice or to brew with. But anyway, and although all the rice grown in Japan is only 44% of, oh man, you had to throw this in there, and I can never pronounce this word. Rice suitable for making sake. Well, is somebody going to try to?
Shuzo koteki mai.
Oh, Shuzo Koteki. Yeah, Shuzo Koteki mai. I think I pronounced that right. Other than that, there are about 100 represented here. The differences start with the rice plants. Those plants tend to be taller with wider ears. The grains themselves are bigger, plumper grains.
Right. Grains are big. Yeah.
Grains are big. More stuff, more sugar, more alcohol.
Baby got grains.
Yeah, baby got grain.
Red beans and rice did not, in fact, miss her.
A much larger starchy core is also a hallmark of many sakimai. And that in a white starchy core called a shimpaku, which literally means white heart. The larger grains are less likely to crack and jeopardize that starchy center, and are an essential element the yeast feeds on during the polishing process, making it possible to remove more and more proteins, lipids, and fats from around the shimpaku. And also the shimpaku dissolves more easily in the moromi or the mash. So yeah, what that means basically is when you concentrate all the starches, or when you breed it to concentrate all those starches in a dense core, you can mill it more to a higher degree and still keep those starches in there. So you're not losing starch to get rid of the unwanted bits.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's say, so there are numerous types of rice, but there are the big four, which we've kind of already alluded to. Yamada Nishiki, the king of sake rice. Omachi, the grandfather of sake rice. Gyaku Mangoku, and Miyama. Sorry, my cat is like trying to like get on my shoulder.
We're all juggling cats. I am.
I'm not.
Well, trying to read words from another language and deal with a cat.
If Casey's camera was on, all we would see is a cat's anus.
Well, and it doesn't hurt that the words that you're trying to say also sound like meow. So
the cat's like, yeah, I know.
I got you.
There was the thing I had. They had like the kanji, and I just kind of copied it over into this for it. But I'm like always looking. I'm just like, God, an ideogrammic language, a written language, is just bananas to me.
Yeah,
it's like, oh no, we're not making sounds. This is a symbol that represents a thing. Oh God, why?
Yeah, so the big four would say Yamada Nishiki, Omachi, Gyaku Mangoku, and Miyama Nishiki are kind of the four main sake varietals, but Yamada Nishiki by far is the most common that you'll see.
So the Gyoku Mangoku, after you're done with that sake, if you're done with that rice, does it come back stronger the next time? Get like a Zenkai. It does not get a Zenkai boost.
It doesn't have say in biology, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
I forget what. So Gyaku Mangoku, like it's a hand. It's like a numeric like thing. I don't speak Japanese, even though I make this stuff. But Gyaku Mangoku, it's they're just starting to grow it in the U.S., but it's a pretty sought. I mean, it's a sought after rice, particularly for koji making. It's said to make very good kakimai or Kojima, or I'm sorry, not Kakimai, Kojimai, for sake brewing. But what was I going to say? Oh, there's also a push, and I think it's in the sake brewing world. And I think it's like a artifact from like winemaking and like terroir and like geographic identifiers, where like different prefectures in Japan are starting to apply for geographic indicators for their sake, and it's like rice that is grown in only this prefecture in Japan.
We may
So
talk
of
about
those, what's that?
we may talk about one of them, or at least a hybrid that might be coming.
Yeah.
With one of those.
But like of those 100 and something varietals, like there are some that are only grown in like regional type rices grown in certain prefectures. But the former of the two breeds, the former two are breeds that have existed since before the war. Do you mean World War II?
Yeah,
Or
I believe
war?
World War II.
Okay. Called Akute type. The latter two are breeds that were developed for colder latitudes in the post-war period. Waze type.
I think that's right.
Yeah. The former two are more ripened, juicier, making sake relatively savory and full-bodied. The latter two are harder and do not dissolve in the moromi, thus giving clean, fresh flavors to the sake. In comparison with Yamada Nishiki, Omachi tends to give a wilder, full-body flavor to the sake. Of course, it is not only types. These are not the only types of sake rice. Can't read. Of course, it is not only types of rice that determine the flavors of sake, but it might be interesting to keep in mind that when drinking the sake, you will get different flavors out of them. Like in my kind of experience, Yamada Nishiki is like the cleaner of the two. Omachi is a little bit, it's like different spectrums. Yamada Nishiki, it's preferred for how clean it comes out. And you can get I generally get like a floral, like cleaner taste to it. Whereas Omachi, you get more robust flavors. And a lot of times I'll describe it to people as like a rye or like a grainy type of flavor, lending towards like rye. So a lot of whiskey drinkers, I'll say like, you would like this Omachi because it is flavors that you were familiar with.
There's one of your
language.
There's one of those that you make that when it's I was seeing Omachi, it's like, oh, I think I know which one of these uses Omachi.
Yeah. It personally is my favorite of the sake rices. It is a pain to work with on the brewing side because it is very inconsistent, but the flavor is that's why you put up with the bitchiness of this rice.
Fair enough.
But yeah, every rice it does lend to different taste in the sakes. It's a little subtler, but once you start trying it and you pick up some of these like nuances, it's kind of crazy how much flavor you can get from it. But having said that, the sakes using the types of rice grown in the local regions have recently been gaining popularity. For example, in Deba Shoko from Yamada Prefecture, and the Gingiga from Iwata Prefecture are becoming more in the spotlight. And that's kind of echoes what I said earlier, is like these geographic indicators or just like the locality and regionality of these these regions known for growing certain rice varietals.
everyone wants to have their own appellation for their
Yeah.
for their
Well, yeah, and it's also like that. I guess that regional pride too.
Look, like there are those of us of this show that when someone say like, oh, is it bourbon? Well, was it made in Kentucky?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I mean,
bourbon
yeah.
outside of Kentucky, that's heresy talk right there. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about,
Exterminatus.
and I don't like it.
No, sir, don't like it.
Well, so getting into the different types, the okute type. So as we just kind of briefly mentioned, the omachi. Omachi grown in Okayama is one of the few strains of sake rice that is still pure. While
That's a whenever I hear like it's one of the few things that are still pure. Oh, getting a lot of eugenics vibes here.
What? Okay.
But I mean, I'm sorry. But a lot of the like that, I guess that purity in sake, you hear that pop up a lot, but it has to, I guess, with modern brewing techniques and trying to refine it to the most delicate, refined kind of product that it can be, is what I guess what they're going for.
Yeah, I know. It just when I hear it like in a sentence, occasionally my brain just goes, "Ooh."
Yeah, it's hard to while not a result of crossbreeding itself, this okute rice has been used for that purpose to such an extent that it's a genetic parent of 60% of all sake rice. Yeah.
It's the grandfather of sake rice.
It was popular as a table rice in the Meiji era, but when production became more industrialized, omachi was found to be too difficult to harvest by machine. By the 1920s, it had dropped off the scene completely, not returning until the 1980s. Sake made with omachi rice have an earthy taste that reveals a variety of subtle flavors within.
I like that they're also like, yeah, not only is it hard to brew with, apparently it's hard to harvest. No one wants to deal with this thing.
Everything is just don't do this.
It's also like from what I remember learning about it. It's also the way it grows. It's like taller, and it's just not like, I guess it just grows too tall, and it's not very structurally stable and can like fall over, and it's just difficult to grow, difficult to harvest, difficult to brew with.
They're like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Chris, all I could think of during that was, yeah, very tall, easily knocked over, difficult to.
Look, I'm just saying, weak ankles are part of the territory. I mean, it just happens.
Necessary? Is it necessary to grow omachi? No, because it's sterile and I like the taste.
Oh god,
that might have to be another reference point of us. So when we're like, it's either Eddie Izzard or that. Like, I feel like
it's
yeah, so hooligan.
Chris, there's an episode of I think it was Brain Blades, one of the Simon videos, and they talk about like terrible cures that people have been trying over the years, and one of them was like urine therapy. And all I could think of the entire time he's talking about it was like, nope, but it's sterile and I like the taste.
I don't know. Did you catch there was one recently, Brittany was home while I was watching it. It was things that'll horrify you to learn. And it was something like coffee, and they're talking about coffee made at work, the percentage of it that's poop.
Oh, yeah, I think I have seen
contamination.
Yeah.
And he's like currently, like at the moment he's reading it, he's like, I'm drinking coffee right now at the
It cuts to the meme of the old clip from Austin Powers 2, where it's like,
this guy tastes like shit.
It is shit.
It is shit. It's a bit nutty.
Oh, then it's not just me.
He goes back to
yeah, he goes back.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move out
Yes.
of the
Back to the
late
sake, which is
90s.
not shit.
Not poop.
Yeah. So the main sources for the omachi are from Okayama, Hiroshima, and Gifu as some of the examples there.
Wait. What years? Okay, so they stopped doing it. You know, I feel like there's another reason they stopped using omachi during the 20s and didn't pick it back up
Hiroshima?
into the 80s. They were getting
That's
some of it from Hiroshima.
Mm.
the origin though is the Okayama prefecture at the end of the Edo period in 1866. So the characteristics though, they tend to give sake complexity and wilderness. I love that as an adjective.
Wilderness. Okay. Is that applied to all of Sierra Nevadas?
Maybe. Its cultivation is so difficult that it was a rare breed at one time. It sounds like it, yeah. Okay, so then the Yamada Nishiki. Yamada Nishiki is sometimes called the king of sake rice. Grown in Hyogo as well as Fukuoka, Tokushima, and Okayama, which is apparently the home of sake, I guess.
Just apparently we need to go to Okayama.
Yeah. This okute rice is often used to make the most delicate styles of premium sake, especially daiginjo. Yamada Nishiki absorbs water and dissolves relatively easily, and its soft grains require great care in polishing.
By the
Yeah,
way,
that's what I was going to bring up is that like they bred this rice specifically for the brewers and making sake in it. Like the big things are how it absorbs water, so that helps with steaming the rice. How it dissolves in the mash, so that you can get larger yields and you're getting full extraction out of your out of that sugar. And also it gives you a consistent melting, meaning that you'll have a consistent profile in the ferment. And also too, like what she said, the helps in polishing, because when it cracks like that, then you just increase the surface area, and then the koji enzymes get in there and can dissolve it a lot faster, and then you just get like huge bumps in sugar, which is not what you want.
I do want to like, because there's kanji for this, like there wasn't the section above in the script. I'm just looking at it going like, trying to like just look at it, it's like, okay, weird W, a box, like a window, and then just the most kanji looking kanji I've ever seen in my life. I just look at it like, yeah, that's what I expect when I see Japanese writing.
Yeah.
Well, and see,
It's-
I'm not even, because I'm not learning script, so it's like, well, okay, so which is kanji, which is hiragana, romaji? I like.
Well, romanji I know is like when they write it out in English, like they use like the
Oh, that's true. That's true.
like an English alphabet.
Well,
like
yeah, I think there are some words in here that are kanji, and then the other one that she said, which is not kanji, the hiragana.
yeah. But I don't know. Like whenever I'm kind of like, there are some things in like some like little info things up in Void that have like the like how the kanji to make to make the word sake show up, and I'm just like, yeah, this is why this language is bonkers to me.
I will say so the what's the website now? I'm drawing a blank on it, but they have the infographics you were alluding to, and one of them is like how to. It's for like an English speaker on how to to get the kanji, right? That ideographic language. And it's like, oh, sake, it comes from like the word, like representation of water and the vessel that you drink it out of. So when you mix them together, it looks like a sake vessel, but it looks like a butt plug.
Yes, totally does. But that's the infographic I'm thinking of, where it's like, yeah, it's this and this. Like, oh, that makes sense. And together they make a butt plug.
So a butt plug means sake. Got it. That's what we all learned today. If you see the characters and it looks like a butt plug, talking about sake.
Well, I when I put that up there, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna teach people like what these kanji words mean." And then not like the next day, a customer comes in. It's like, "Why is there a butt plug photo on your?" thing?" And I'm like, "God damn it!"
Takes another set of eyes. Yeah. Okay. So to finish out the Yamada Nishiki, so as we said, main sources: Hyogo, Fukuoka, and Tokushima. So the origin is Hyogo Prefecture during the Taisho period, 1912 to 1926.
That is the son of the Magi Emperor, who it's believed that there was something like desperately wrong with him. Like he was not healthy and not well, and they hid the emperor from the public. And Hirohito took up a lot more duties, like public duties, but people did not see the emperor during that time.
Just some like Habsburg kind of shit going on.
They're not. There's some disagreement about what might have been wrong with him. He could have been like developmentally challenged, or it could be that there was like some physical issues, and no one's entirely like. I have not found someone that has told like definitively said what was wrong with him.
Was it like the monarchs in Europe and they all had hemophilia?
No, it's more like
Look, that Habsburg jaw was recognizable from generations away.
There's at least a lot of indication that he was mentally unsound in some way. And it might have just been that he was crazy. It could have been that there was some kind of developmental problem maybe. But that was the period that the military went, look, we have to do what's right for the country. And the emperor will thank us for it, even if he doesn't understand that we're taking more control from him. And you went, guys, didn't we get rid of show? Okay, well, that's fine. Carry on.
Yeah.
Sorry. Back to the characteristics. I keep derailing things.
No, this is what we do.
The train is off the tracks. I mean,
yeah.
And then we have to re-rail back onto the tracks.
Sort of. It's a little wonky though. There's a wheel missing. So at this point, the characteristics for Yamada Nishiki, which I having to scroll up to look at what I'm even talking about anymore. So it has the greatest market share due to its perfect characters for sake rice, and it tends to give sake or savory flavors to sake.
Beef. No, it's not. It's just the first thing I like. Savory.
Although I guess maybe it would be good with like ramen.
Oh, I could go for some ramen right now.
Moving into WAS types. Waste.
Whoa. Where's Casey? Which room are you in right now?
Oh, hold up. Hold up.
I think
it's not the room with the computer in it.
It's not the room with the microphone. I'll say that.
There we go. That's what happens when the microphone's on your head and not in front of your mouth.
I was 100% certain you had flipped up your mic.
That's what I did.
Leave this in.
I might. I don't know. Because
all right, moving on to waste or was types. Grains of these types are a bit hard and do not easily dissolve in the moromi. Tends to be clean and fresh sake. Was types refers to the rice breeds that ripen quickly.
Is it wase or is it was? Yeah.
Wase?
They don't believe in silent letters.
Yeah.
There is no, because I tried to look it up on YouTube earlier. There is no YouTube pronunciation for this one.
I'm certain.
Gohyaku Mongoku.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. You did a good job. Yep,
it's the second most widely used sake rice in Japan. The wase rice is grown along the northwestern coast, especially around Niigata, where it was discovered in 1938. Its large inner core is almost pure starch, and it yields light body sakes with a fresh, clean taste. But the giant core prevents high levels of polishing. I guess once you get down so deep, it just dissolves, sort of.
When you'll ruin the core, which is what you want at a
Gotcha.
I also like the discovered 1938. It makes it seem like they were on an expedition. Finding Bigfoot, finding Gyoko Mangoku.
I'd watch that.
There's Leonard Nimoy there going, well, we'll see if we can find Gyoko Mango.
Hold on, I'm gonna look up the literal translation of that because it's bugging me now. But it means like a handful, like 4,000 or something. Anyway, yeah, you continue, Casey.
I'm picturing rice in an orange ghee.
The main sources of this rice are from Niigata, Fukui, Toyama, and Tech.
Probably supposed to be etc. There's a typo.
Oh, etc.
Like it's not capitalized. Niigata Prefecture, though, is its origin. The characteristics are large grains with a large inner part that is close to pure starch. Tends to produce clean and fresh sakes.
Man, I had many typos in that section that I didn't catch. Good job, Casey.
The Miyama Nishiki sake or rice type is also a wase rice. It grows well in cold weather and produces rich sake with strong rice flavors. It is grown in Iwata, Akita, Yamagata, Miyagi, Fukushima, and Nagano, often at higher altitudes. Okay, that makes sense because Nagano is definitely a Winter Olympic site, right? Where it had that giant mountain.
Yeah. Well, and it. Well, I'm trying to think of where Fukushima is. I know, like
that was shoreline, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, because the tsunami hit that, and that caused the nuclear meltdown.
I'm assuming it's a large prefecture, like it could range. That's the coastline.
Yeah.
But then, of course, there's plenty inland.
So many prefectures in Japan. Like you're just like, God, you're not that big. How do you have room for all this?
It was developed as a mutant in 1978 when a rice breed called Takashi Nishiki was radiated at Nagano Agriculture Test Center. That's awesome.
It's alive.
Like now we're doing genetic changes. So we're just like, okay, let's do the CRISPR technique, inject this gene into that. They were just sort of like, let's throw gamma radiation at it and see what happens.
Maybe we'll get
I mean, has anybody not heard of the ruby red grapefruit? That's what they did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, what kind of superpowers can we get off this? This is how Sunfire was born out of the X-Men.
Let's slap it with radiation.
Love it.
Welcome to Sake Park.
It is this is a hardy breed that is widely cultivated in Tohoku district, northern part of Japan. It tends to produce clean sake with smooth textures, such as Jumai Ginju.
I am one it's hardy. That's because it's the Hulk. It's got gamma rays.
There's also another strain of rice we come across in our research, the Koshi Tanrei. Tanrei?
I don't know. I'm taking a guess.
Yeah.
Koshi Tanrei is the child of Yamada Nikishi and
Hyaku Mangoku
is a perfect example. It was better when it had the dashes in between. Is a perfect example of terroir and sake brewing with Nagata's cool climate. Yamada Nishiki had to be imported from other prefectures. Nagata's brewers wanted a local sakamai that would offer a similar flavor profile, even something richer if possible. Although Goyaku Mangoku is a Nagata sakamai, its small grains make it more likely to crack during the polishing process. Finally released in 2004, Koshi Tanrei has inherited all of its parents' strongest features and none of the negatives. When the first Koshi Tanrei sake hit the market in 2007, made by local brewers, it won plenty of awards at the Zenkoku Zenshu Kenpayokai.
That's basically it's basically a competition. It's like a technical competition for sake brewers.
Oh.
Yeah.
You are making a technically good sake, which is the best kind of correct.
Technically correct.
It's not the ones that sell the best, but the ones that are just technically
flawless.
Yeah. It's It's the ones that like the real like you're gonna have like some aficionados that are like, yeah, this I want
I mean, yeah, for beer drinkers, it might be akin to like the
BJCP standard categories.
maybe that or the Great American Beer Fest like awards or whatever.
I was thinking that like this feels a little GABF.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Casey.
Oh, I was doing an off aside. I'm derailing this train.
I think he's giving you a chance to say what you were going to say before he takes this thing off the tracks.
Oh, so I looked up what the Gyaku Mangoku. It translates to 5 million koku, or approximately 9 million liters, as a commemoration to Nagata's rice yield surpassing 5 million koku that year.
Okay.
Although it was approximately 20 years, or it took 20 years for Gyaku Mangoku to go mainstream, its suitable characteristics and adaptability to mechanized brewing eventually led the rice to hold the largest cultivation acreage among sake rice varietals, until being surpassed by the famed Yamada Nishiki in 2001. Nowadays, Gyaku Mangoku is cultivated all across Japan, with its highest producing regions being in the northwestern prefectures of Niigata, Toyama, Ishikawa, and Fujiku. Fuji. Sorry.
Go, Toriyama. Teach a dinosaur to ride a ball.
Yeah. The bird.
Did I teach him to do what?
See, you hit us with educational stuff, and I was just gonna be like, "Oh yeah, all the competitions that just like random neuron fired in my head," and it was just like, "Oh yeah, the U.S. Beer Open just happened, and Urban Artifact won 3 gold medals."
Nice.
Congratulations to them. What were the categories or the
Fruitiest of fruits.
Yeah, it was all fruit. Because
fruited this, sour that?
Yep, they fruit and they sour and they do all those very well.
That's what I'm interested to see. So, like, fuck Loki, god damn it! Sorry,
the cat strikes again.
We hit it.
He was being all cute and cuddly, and then decided to go.
Yep.
Oh shit! The American Sake Fest. So, when we went last year, I think it was us and Ben's American Sake that had flavored infused sakes.
Mm-hmm.
And the winner of the People's Choice Award was our tangerine creamsicle.
Of course.
Sake.
It's what people want.
Yeah. And so I was on a call or on a conversation with on the sake Reddit, and they were like, "What's the over under on like who's gonna like what sakes are gonna win?" And I'm like, "Well, depending like going off last year, like Asheville is a craft beer town. Charlottesville is probably very similar. I'd have to say flavored sakes are going to be pretty popular."
Mm-hmm. The tangerine just reminded me of like last night when I was down at Void and someone like there's someone who hadn't been there before. They're just like, "Oh, that tangerine creamsicle sounds good." And I'm just sitting there drinking and I just went, "You'll like it. Just go ahead and get it." They're like, "What? No, it's fine. Trust me. You'll enjoy yourself." Bartender comes up. "You selling people drinks again?"
I honestly, you and there's another regular that do that. They're like, "What's your flavor profile?" And I'm just like, I'm gonna walk away. Like, I'll come back and check on you in a minute. I'll let her do her thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's great. I'm just like, okay, cool. I don't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm. Just like being helpful.
It's kind of like the conversation that one of y'all had where it was like, what's the difference between bourbon and like whiskey? And we're like, I have to interject right now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was me with a buzz down at the levee while Brittany's riding the little kiddie train with our child, drinking. Well, we're like, not only can an adult get on this thing, they can get on it with a beer. We're like, the game just changed. But
Damn
anyway,
right.
I'm wandering around drunk, and people are like, what is the difference between bourbon and whiskey? And buzzed me is like, we've got to put our knowledge in and educate these poor folk.
Well, fellas, I believe it is time to talk about what we're drinking.
I guess I'll go first.
Oh, I was waiting for the sounder.
Oh, okay.
She was, I don't know where.
One of the finest wines of Idaho. Would you taste it for us, please? Ooh. Excellent choice. Should be for 95 cents.
To also add to that, I think we've talked about it before. I don't know. Muppets Mayhem.
We have.
If you've not, we haven't finished it yet, but it is
We have like 3 episodes left.
exquisite.
I need to get back
Well,
to watching.
okay.
I must say that I am drinking one of the finest sakes of Kentucky.
It's true.
Not a muscat sake, but I am drinking what's called a Nama Nigori Ginshu, which means it is unpasteurized Nama. It is a Nigori, which matches with the topic, that cloudy sake. And Ginshu, it is uncut, so it is 18%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me that good shit.
It will get you there.
Sure, Nicaraguan.
No, but it is very like thick, creamy, ricey, borderline, like you get kind of that grainy, like astringent character, but like the sweetness of the rice solids just cuts that down.
Yeah.
And
You
it's
start
real.
describing it, and it's just the rhythm of how you're saying it. And in my head, I'm just getting the intro to Baby Got Back. I'm just hearing
Yeah.
bum, 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 bum.
All right, Brittany, put that to music.
What we got back.
I'll get there.
Baby got a gory.
I like them real thick and grainy.
Or
See, I
thick-
can't-
either way.
I only hear Baby Got Back in my head now in the Jonathan Colton style. So
Mm. Yeah. What is wrong?
I got crackheads running.
Like these cats are
back
just
and forth.
galloping back and forth.
That's how
we call that the witching hour.
Our cats don't run; they gallop. It's a full-on like you're.
Like what is happening?
Also, the post-poop zoomies.
Actually, one of my favorite words is the type of organism a cat is. They call crepuscular.
oh,
So you have your nocturnal animals, you have your diurnal animals, and you have the ones that operate in in betweens called corpuscular.
That's a horrible and awesome word. All of them.
they exist whenever they feel like.
Because cats.
Over my shoulder, you can watch them reenacting the scene from Lion King. They love to do it. Scar, brother! Long live the king!
All right, Chris, Brittany, what are you guys drinking?
Some very old, but
Couple things.
I couldn't tell. Like
It was good.
delicious. We started off with some 9 Monkeys from who knows how long ago.
It wasn't that long ago. It was probably
It's at least 2 years old.
First batch you did?
no, it's not that old.
When was the first batch you did? Because it's from that.
You're unaware of my
Yes,
cellar.
Brandon.
It's been a minute. It still tastes good though. So that's what matters.
And then what's the other one? You've got the bottle.
Milk of the Void.
Oh Jesus! I was about to say that looks too dark to be.
I told them like you should probably start 9 monkeys and then finish off with some milk.
I've had fresh milk. I've had the fresh milk before, and honestly, this tastes just as good. So
I was going to say that's almost a year old. A year old in October, because that's when I make it.
Yeah,
I've had it fresh before, and this honestly, I'm like, no, it's still like it holds.
I told him, so we're gonna be down in that area tomorrow, and I need to grab. Well, first of all, is there any pineapple left?
I'm your
Rift Runner. Yeah,
it's in my fridge.
Oh, okay.
I'll be
meaning to
making more of it, but I don't have it right now.
I have some in my fridge for you guys.
Okay.
Well, if you're gonna be here tomorrow, then you'll see me at the Void.
Okay.
Yes.
I will be there.
We may need to just more things. But yes, even though we're not 100% sure about the age, but they're both still quite good, so it doesn't really matter.
They're several months, I would say. They're not too old, but old enough.
Well, mine is quite fresh because I bought it last night.
And because you live there.
Yes. So
I guess for the viewers, the 9 monkeys is banana. We call it banana pudding, but it's basically banana cream.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a banana and vanilla infused Nigori, and then the milk of the void is the squid ink and lemon.
Yeah.
Infused.
Oh, lemon. That's
Squid
okay.
ink taste the squid ink. Milk of the Void tastes a lot lighter than you think looking at it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You
hold
look
that
at
up,
it and you're just like, oh god, what is
you
this
drink
going to be?
Stout, and it's like, no, that's squid ink and gold.
Or the 9 monkeys one. It's what is it? Like banana cream pie.
Gonna take a sting
Yeah.
carrot shit.
I
out
feel like tapioca pudding.
It turns into tapioca pudding when you heat it up.
Yeah.
of
Yeah, that's not a. I feel like Nigori is not where I want to go in the hot sake. You know,
You'd be surprised.
no.
There's a lot of it that look during the winter. I have tried hot sakis. Some of them are pretty good. You don't always really want to do the Nigoris. I wouldn't recommend a lot of them there. I would definitely not tell you to get a tangerine hot.
Oh God.
It's like, look, in the winter, the power goes out, you get bored, you try some things.
Okay, no. In the winter, what I want, if I had to get in a hot sake, it would be that horchata one. I do not remember the name, but my God,
Echoes. It's Echoes. Yeah,
Something with
it's real good.
cinnamon and nutmeg.
yeah, basically. Or the
But yeah,
banana saucer one. Anyway,
I am drinking 9 monkeys, fresh from there, 13%. So not terrible for the. And it is a nice nice little banana bomb.
Banana bomb.
Reminds me of the. Do y'all remember the Wells Banana Bread beer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
that stuff's amazing. Still,
I was telling someone, it's like, there is a regular that I see that I'm just like, oh man, his wife is going to like they need to know that it's on sale, because if he misses it again, it sells out before he can pick up a bottle again. She's going to kill him.
I guess with the series, you're all going to talk about sake yeasts.
That'll probably be some of the stuff we'll talk about next episode.
Because if I could like brew enough to like sell an entire like batch of this, then I would use a different yeast just to ratchet up that banana.
Okay. Yeah.
With like a little bit of bubble gum is usually what comes out of that yeast. But yeah, it'd be like Wells Banana Bread.
Oh.
Isoamyl acetate to the max.
It's over 9,000.
A lot of Dragon Ball references today.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's 9,001. 9,001.
Yarch. All right, Casey, what have you got
Casey.
for us?
I am on an L8 zero sugar.
Taking
Nice.
it easy tonight.
I am. I had a few drinks last week, of course, going to Disney and tiki bars and whatnot. So
Didn't
You were at Trader Sam's Grog, or no, you were just at Trader Sam's, not the Grog Grotto, just
the original,
the OG Trader Sam's. Yeah,
Yep.
And I'm pretty
the
jealous.
enchanted tiki bar,
Is
which
that
I
the-
did.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Casey.
No.
I was gonna ask, is that the restaurant that they made based off the pilot from Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Ooh,
That is oh god. Jacques.
Because it's tiki
Jacques
bar. What is it?
That's Jacques Lindsay. That's
Jacques. That's right.
yeah.
Jacques.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yep, the one in Disney Springs area. Yeah. So I was able to get, though, they did release some new tiki bar pins, Disney trading pins, and so I was able to snag one of those while I was there. Now I just need to find the one for the East Coast, and we'll be able to set that pair up. But yes.
Oh, you got the void pins too. Oh
So
wait.
speaking of my pins, I've got my 3-year membership pins.
That is the Pokemon of
That's the
right.
collect 'em all I'm doing. I joked that this is the year I hit Commander because I have 3 pips now, and the Star Trek rules are.
While I am a fan of pin trading for Disney, they are definitely the more Pokemon-like, or the Pokemon on steroids, because there's like over 8,000 pins out there now.
Mhm.
God damn.
It's like you can never catch them all, so just pick a
That's
category.
almost like Boy Scouts, like patch trading. Like
Oh, totally.
when you go to like big jamborees for like other
Wait. They-
councils or whatever, and you trade your patches with other ones.
Boy Scouts wasn't an option when I was a child. They trade patches. I thought they earned them and then they just showed them off.
No, it's your council patch, like the one that's on one of your shoulders.
Oh, those
Like
patches.
people would trade those.
Gotcha.
Much like challenge coins.
Yes, yeah,
Okay, that makes
because
more
they're unique to like the different regions that you're in.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yes, that has been what we are drinking.
Yeah.
All right.
And I guess I wrote today's episode.
I'm not looking at the doc. Sorry.
You're good. With resources
All
from.
right. You can. Bob has written today's episodes using sources from Sake Talk, Sake Times, and Tipsy.
Tipsy. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Man, certainly feels like I am.
Also Wikipedia.
You can subscribe and get some great resources at haveadrinkshow.com. Follow us at Have a Drink Show on social media and twitch.tv.
And you can tell us your favorite drink, ask a question, or just leave some general feedback. You can use the email address feedback@haveadrinkshow.com. You can also use the feedback page on the website. Or, I'm still listening to the empty void when you scream into it. I usually hear it on Friday nights.
I was just saying that's apt for
Yeah.
say my Chris is otherwise occupied because our child nightmares. So all joking and fun aside, we'd like to remind everyone to please drink responsibly. Also, we want to thank Justin Levon again for being on the show. Super awesome to have like kind of a firsthand perspective on the sake process and everything about it, really. So
I didn't say earlier that I kind of forgot, but the next month the Sake Brewers Association is sending myself and 2 other North American sake brewers to basically live in a sake brewery in Japan for a week.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be in Japan for 10 or 12 days total. but a week of which is we're going to be in a brewery in Japan learning.
I knew it was coming up
amazing.
soon. I couldn't remember when that trip for you was.
Yeah, end of August. Yeah, the last week of August, first week of September.
That
So,
is
Where
right.
at?
Niigata region.
Nice.
So we're going to be the brewery is Gakugora in on Sando or Sagado Island or Sando. Shit, I can't. I'm too drunk to remember. Sorry. But we're going to be in the Niigata region at Gakugora. And yeah, so.
That's awesome.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
All right.
All right. Well, you can check us out in another couple of weeks, and hopefully all is well with the posting of the episodes again. Sorry for delays last time. And remember to check out patreon.com/haveadrinkshow and haveadrinkstore.com, which is shockingly updated. Once again, I'm Brittany Lee Walker.
I'm Justin Frazier. Christopher Walker is missing.
And I'm
Yeah.
Casey Price. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
And we're out.